Mixed signals, why women sometimes push away the men they want. Modern Stoic. Why is it that a woman who seems to be deeply interested in you suddenly starts acting distant? Why do texts go unanswered? Emotional walls go up, and she pulls away just as things start to get serious. Let's explore what's really happening. Here's a truth that many men overlook when a woman begins to withdraw. It doesn't always mean she's losing interest. In fact, it can often signal something entirely different. She might be falling for you harder than she ever expected. And as the intensity of her feelings grows, so does her fear. Rather than moving closer, she retreats. This isn't because she doesn't want you. It's because she's terrified of just how much she does. At first glance, this behavior seems paradoxical, but it's a pattern many men fail to understand. When a woman pulls away, men often misinterpret it as a sign of disinterest. She stops reaching out, and it's assumed she must be seeing someone else. But here's the twist. What if her pulling back is actually a sign that she's overwhelmed by her emotions? Many women, especially those who have been hurt in the past or struggle with vulnerability, tend to withdraw when they feel emotionally exposed. As things begin to feel real, they test you. They want connection, but their fear tells them to guard themselves. They crave closeness, yet their instincts push them to distance themselves to protect their hearts. This is where many men go wrong. They react by chasing her, demanding answers, or pleading for attention. However, this only fuels her fears that intimacy equals pressure, and that love means losing control. Understanding this dynamic is crucial. If you can recognize the signs and respond wisely, you'll stop falling into confusion and frustration. Instead of reacting emotionally, you'll be equipped to handle the situation calmly and confidently. As the ancient philosopher Seneca wisely said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more. That is poor." This speaks to the importance of emotional balance, understanding when to act and when to give space. I'll walk you through exactly why women sometimes push away the very men they want most, how to recognize these signs, and, most importantly, how to avoid falling into emotional traps. Mastering this understanding can transform your dating life and help you navigate these mixed signals with ease. Now, let's get into the nuances of why she might be pulling away. One, she fears losing control. When a woman starts developing genuine feelings for you, feelings she can't fully understand or control, something unexpected happens fear. But this fear isn't about you. It's about losing control over herself. The moment she realizes that she cares for you more than she intended, her first instinct might be to back off. It's not because you've done anything wrong. It's because she's afraid of what those feelings might mean. Many women have been taught, either through their past experiences or their environment, that giving too much of themselves can make them vulnerable. They've learned that falling deeply for someone can leave them weak and exposed. So, when they find themselves thinking about you more often, caring about your opinion, and wondering whether you'll stick around, the panic sets in. Instead of embracing these emotions, they retreat. And no matter how well you treat her, no matter how consistent and dependable you are, that fear can override everything. The truth is, the more you show up, the more stable you are, the more it triggers this fear inside her. Control is her version of safety. And the moment she feels like she's starting to lose that control, it feels like she's handing you the power to hurt her. That's when she distances herself. It's not that she doesn't care. She's just trying to protect herself from caring even more. You've probably been through this. You've been texting a woman, having great conversations, feeling like things are moving smoothly. Then, out of nowhere, her responses start slowing down. They become shorter, or worse, they start taking hours or even days. You haven't changed. You didn't mess up. It's confusing, and it feels like you've lost her. But here's the catch: she's not rejecting you. She's simply trying to regain control over her emotions. The deeper the connection gets, the more she feels like she's losing control. And to protect herself, she pulls away. Now, Most men make a huge mistake at this point. They panic, chase after her, question what went wrong, or even show frustration. But that only validates her fears, that intimacy equals pressure. This is where the modern Stoic mindset comes in. You, as a modern Stoic, must understand that the solution is to remain calm. You must be the one who doesn't chase, who doesn't flinch when she pulls away. Your stability, your unwavering cool, becomes the very thing that helps her feel safe again. By maintaining your composure, you signal to her that you're not a threat to her emotional safety. You don't need to chase her to prove your worth. Instead, you continue to show up in the same steady way as before, unaffected by her emotional distance. In fact, it's precisely because you're not desperate to control her or her emotions that she will feel comfortable enough to return. She'll come back, not because you chased her down, but because you showed her you could handle her emotional needs without overwhelming her. That's the blessing of Stoicism, being able to hold your ground and maintain your sense of self. No matter how she behaves, she'll respect your emotional resilience, and in the end, your calm presence will win her over. Be the steady force she can rely on. When she pulls away, don't make it about you. Instead, understand that it's her struggle with her emotions, not a reflection of your worth. The old Stoic would have told you to keep your peace in the face of such challenges, and now, as a modern Stoic, you must do the same. The key is never to chase, but to hold steady and remain unaffected, which will, in turn, allow her to feel safe enough to move forward in her own time. 2. Too much emotion scares her. Many men believe that once a woman starts developing deep feelings, love, desire, emotional attachment, the relationship will naturally move forward. But here's the twist sometimes. The stronger her feelings grow, the more likely she is to pull away. Not because she doesn't want the connection, but because the intensity of those emotions makes her feel vulnerable, exposed, and out of control. On the surface, women might seem emotionally open and expressive, but when it comes to real, personal emotional investment, many women struggle with inner stability. When things are light, flirting, playful banter, she's in control. But the moment it turns serious, when she starts to truly care, she panics. Why? Because emotional vulnerability is risky. She's no longer just enjoying the moment. She's in territory where she can get hurt. And for many women, especially those who've been betrayed, abandoned, or deeply disappointed, that risk triggers fear. It's a defense mechanism, often unconscious. She may tell herself she's too busy, that you're too available, or that something just feels off. But in truth, it's not about your availability. It's about her emotional overload and the fact that she doesn't trust how she feels. And this is where most men make a fatal mistake. They get emotional in response. They chase, get anxious, act out of fear. This only escalates her emotional storm. Now, both of you are unstable, and the ground shakes under what could have been a solid connection. What she needs isn't more emotion. It's your calm, your clarity. This is where Stoicism comes in, not as a cold mask, but as a stabilizing force. The Stoic life teaches us that leadership in relationships isn't loud. It's rooted in emotional strength. You don't meet fire with fire. You become the steady flame that doesn't flicker when the wind blows. If you have ever seen a woman completely open up, become warm, and then suddenly turn cold or distant, you've experienced this paradox firsthand. It's not manipulation, it's her wrestling with the collision between desire and fear, and your role is not to fix her or beg her back. It's to hold your frame, to be the man who doesn't lose himself when emotions rise. That's not indifference, that's strength. That's Stoic leadership. When you remain grounded, when you create a space of safety, not pressure, she can eventually trust her own emotions and stop fearing them. And when that happens, she'll lean in, she'll return. Not because you demanded it, but because your presence gave her the calm she needed to surrender. That's the silent power of Stoic lessons applied in love. Be steady, be kind, but don't lose your core. That's how you earn trust, not just affection. Stick with me, because this is just the beginning. We're moving forward with even more powerful tactics to leave a lasting impact on their minds. Get ready for the next move, one that deepens their connection to you in ways they can't ignore. If you are ready, comment, "Let's go, let's move forward." 3. She's testing your strength. In every meaningful connection, there comes a moment when things seem perfect, strong chemistry, real attraction. But then, suddenly, she shifts. She becomes distant, cold, and confusing. Many men panic, assuming something went wrong. The truth, this is a test, and it's not random. Women don't just seek attraction, they crave emotional security within it. The only way she can truly feel secure is if she knows you can handle her when she's at her most unpredictable, emotional, and uncertain. This is when she's watching, silently assessing. Can you handle it when she pulls away? Will you fold when her energy shifts? Or will you remain grounded, unaffected by the pressure she creates? This is not a conscious test. Often, she doesn't even realize she's doing it, but her instincts are sharp, and she's trying to determine something crucial: whether or not you have the emotional resilience to weather her storms without losing your composure. This is the difference between the men she likes and the men she'll emotionally submit to. It's not about your words, not about what you say when things are easy. It's about how you react when everything shifts, when her energy changes, and when you're thrown into chaos. That's where your strength is tested, not through aggression or dominance, but through emotional control. The Stoic principles show us that calm, measured responses in the face of chaos reflect true power. When she throws emotional chaos your way, silence, mood swings, pulling back, your reaction reveals either strength or insecurity. Women feel it instantly. It's not about making excuses or chasing her approval. It's about staying calm, collected, and secure in yourself no matter the circumstances. If you panic, beg, or try to explain yourself, you've already failed the test without even knowing it. You've shown her that your value depends on her behavior. But when you stay grounded, unwavering, and self-assured, you show her that you don't need her to validate your worth. That's power, and that's what she's secretly searching for. Remember what Marcus Aurelius, a master of Stoic philosophy, said: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This test isn't avoidable. It's part of every high-value woman's dynamic. She's not trying to break you. She wants to see if you're unbreakable. Once she sees that you can handle her worst without losing your best, that's when she'll trust you on a deeper level than most men will ever experience." This is how true emotional connections are built, and it's how you rise to the occasion, by mastering yourself. 4. Her past trauma is in charge. In relationships, it's easy to think you're dealing with the woman in front of you, but sometimes what you're truly facing are all the emotional scars she hasn't healed from yet. Her coldness, her emotional distance, they aren't always a reflection of how she feels about you. They're often a result of past trauma that hasn't been addressed. This is something many men fail to realize: a woman's past experiences, especially the painful ones, deeply affect how she reacts to love and relationships now. If she has been betrayed, lied to, or hurt in the past, those wounds don't simply vanish. Instead, they shape her perceptions and expectations, often subconsciously. Even if she genuinely likes you and desires a meaningful connection, her unresolved trauma can cause her to push you away, even when she doesn't want to. The truth is, she can feel both safe and unsafe with you at the same time. On one hand, she's drawn to you, but on the other, her trauma is on high alert, whispering to her that things might go wrong, just as they have in the past. This creates a conflict in her mind. When things feel too good, her subconscious kicks in with, "This is too familiar. I've been hurt before." It's not about you. It's about the wounds she's carrying, and that fear often convinces her to shut down, pull back, and close herself off before she gets hurt again. If you're not aware of this, you might mistakenly take her withdrawal personally, thinking she's not interested or is being flaky. But the truth is, She's scared, and that fear is linked to old pain that has nothing to do with you. The real struggle for men comes when they try to fix the situation. They think if they just talk her through it, they can convince her to trust again. But here's the hard truth. Your role isn't to be her therapist. You can't fix her past or the pain she carries. Instead, your job is to stay firm and unwavering, to be the emotional anchor she needs, without letting her emotional swings destabilize your own peace. The key to dealing with a woman who's acting out of trauma is not through words or logic, but through consistent, calm presence. Your stability becomes a measure of reality for her, a sign that not all men are going to hurt her. But here's the catch: you can't force her to see this. She has to come to that conclusion on her own. If you try to convince her with words, you're just adding to the noise. It's your actions, your consistency, and your emotional stability that will do the talking. The blessing of Stoicism comes into play here. As a modern Stoic, you must learn how to remain grounded in your own emotions, no matter what emotional storms she may throw your way. You have to understand that her reactions are rooted in history, and therefore, they are not personal. When you lead with emotional stability, you stop reacting to her trauma, and instead, you start setting the tone for what a stable, healthy relationship could look like. Trauma doesn't heal under pressure. It heals when the chaos around it ceases, and peace begins to take its place. As an old Stoic would say, your inner peace, your calmness, is the most powerful tool you can bring to the table in this situation. So, don't take it personally. Be that anchor she needs and show her that there is, indeed, safety in a relationship that isn't defined by her past hurts. If you find this valuable, comment below and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember, I am emotionally grounded and I lead with stability. 5. Closeness feels like danger. To most men, getting closer to a woman is a sign of success. You spend more time together, exchange deeper conversations, and you begin to feel that emotional intimacy. Things feel like they're moving in the right direction. You think this is going well. But here's the twist. For some women, that exact moment of connection triggers an emotional alarm. Closeness, to her, doesn't feel like progress. It feels like exposure. That's right, exposure of everything. The real, unfiltered version of herself. Not just the polished, confident image she initially put out there, but the vulnerable, sometimes insecure woman she's been hiding beneath. The fears she's too afraid to admit, and the insecurities she's worked hard to keep under wraps. When a woman has experienced emotional pain or betrayal in the past, she comes to see closeness not as a safe haven, but as a potential threat. The closer you get, the more exposed she becomes to the very possibility of getting hurt again. Think of it like this. You're slowly peeling back layers of an onion, expecting a sweet, tear-free revelation. But to her, every layer uncovered feels like an invitation to more pain, and that pain is something she's afraid to face. If life has taught her anything, whether through past relationships or difficult experiences, it's that being seen can be risky. Being vulnerable means inviting rejection, judgment, or abandonment. So when things start to feel too close, too real, her natural defense mechanism kicks in, and suddenly, she pulls away. You might be thinking, isn't this what she wants? Isn't closeness supposed to bring us closer together? Yes, on the surface. She craves connection and emotional safety just like you. But the problem is, once safety starts to form, her old fears of being exposed come rushing to the forefront. It's not about you. It's about the emotional scars that are still fresh in her heart. It's about the trauma that still whispers in the back of her mind, reminding her that being vulnerable means risking the very thing she fears most: abandonment. Imagine this scenario: you're spending more time together, having those deep, meaningful talks, and everything feels solid. There's no drama, just genuine connection. You think things are deepening, but then, out of nowhere, she pulls back. Fewer texts, less interest. She needs space. And in that moment, you feel like you're losing her. It doesn't make sense. You wonder, what went wrong? But to her, that intimacy, that emotional closeness, feels like she's losing control. She's letting you in. And once you're in, you hold the power to hurt her in ways no one else ever could. Her emotional walls, her shields, are meant to protect her from being hurt. The closer you get, the more vulnerable she becomes. And that feels dangerous. Now, here's where you need to shift your perspective. It's easy to feel rejected, to take it personally, and even to become reactive. You might think that she's losing interest, or that she's pulling away because she's not feeling the connection. But remember this, her pulling back isn't rejection, it's resistance. It's her fight or flight response kicking in, warning her that she's on the verge of being emotionally exposed. This is where many men go wrong. They chase after her. They ask for clarity. They demand answers. They think that if they push harder, they can get her to open up. But that's the worst thing you can do. Pushing, chasing, and demanding will only elevate her anxiety. It will make her feel more trapped, more exposed, and more vulnerable. Instead, you must stand your ground, be calm, be stoic. Let her have the space she needs without making it about you. Don't turn it into a drama. Stay grounded in your own emotions and don't let her coldness throw you off. Your job isn't to fix her or force her to open up. Your role is to remain emotionally steady, to show her that you're someone who can handle the weight of her emotions without collapsing. When you do this, when you stay calm, confident, and unshaken, something profound happens. She'll sense the energy shift. She'll sense that you're not like the others. You're not just another man trying to claim ownership of her emotions. You're someone who can handle them with patience and understanding. That's what makes her want to come back, not because of guilt or obligation, but because she begins to trust you. This is where Stoicism comes into play. The Stoic lessons about emotional resilience and maintaining your inner peace are critical here. You must remember, emotional stability is your greatest strength. Don't let the highs and lows of her reactions sway you. Be grounded in your own sense of self. That is how you create an environment where trust can grow, even in the face of emotional turbulence. In the Stoic life, we don't react impulsively to every wave of emotion. We don't let others' moods dictate our own. Instead, we hold our own center. We don't chase validation. We lead by example, showing that we are calm in the storm. And that calmness, that unwavering confidence, is exactly what she needs to feel safe enough to open up. So, next time she pulls away, don't panic. Don't assume the worst. Stay grounded, stay calm, and remember her reaction is not about you. It's about her past, her fears, and her vulnerability. You can either let that fear drive a wedge between you, or you can use it as an opportunity to lead with emotional stability, to show her that you are a man who can be trusted with her heart. That is true emotional leadership. That is Stoic wisdom in action. And that's what will keep her coming back, not because she has to, but because she trusts you enough to let her guard down. 6. She wants reassurance without asking. Women, like men, experience emotional vulnerability, but they often don't ask for reassurance the way men might expect. One of the most common reasons a woman pushes a man away, despite wanting him, is because deep inside, she's craving security and reassurance. She doesn't ask because vulnerability terrifies her. It means admitting that you matter and that fear runs deep. Women have been conditioned to believe that dependence is a weakness. They want to feel chosen, valued, desired, but they don't want to need a man to feel that way. So, instead of openly expressing their need for reassurance, they test the waters by creating emotional distance. It's not manipulation, it's emotional self-preservation. She'll test you by pulling back, subtly withdrawing, to see if you'll still be there, to check if you'll remain steady when she's uncertain, and if you'll give her what she needs without her having to ask. In her mind, she's asking, if I stop being sweet, will he stay if I pull away a little? Will he notice and hold firm, or will he crumble? Her behaviour might seem erratic. 1 minute she's all in, the next distant. You're left walking on eggshells, unsure of how to react. But here's the key. The one thing she's seeking is reassurance without having to plead for it. She wants to feel safe, not just because it's convenient for you, but because your presence doesn't waver when things get tough. When you remain emotionally grounded, when you don't take the bait of her withdrawal, when you don't panic or react emotionally, you show her stability. That's the reassurance she's been silently craving. It's not about grand declarations or dramatic gestures. It's about consistent presence, calm, and unwavering support. She needs to feel that you are solid, that your interest isn't contingent on her emotions, that you're not expecting her to carry the emotional load. That's the reassurance she seeks. It's in the calm, not the chaos. You must be the anchor in her storm. You need to understand that this is not a game. It's a test of your emotional maturity. Like the Stoic principles taught by Marcus Aurelius, maintaining composure in the face of emotional challenges will be your strength, he said. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. This rings true in relationships too. Instead of reacting to her emotional tests, remain steady. Let your actions speak louder than words. This approach doesn't just win her trust, it builds it over time. As a man embracing the Stoic path, your responsibility is to keep your emotions in check, not to seek validation, but to be the constant, reliable force in her life. When you maintain this emotional stability, you do more than reassure her, you inspire confidence in the relationship. She will trust you because she knows that your emotions aren't fragile. You show her that emotional closeness is a safe space, not something to fear. It's in your steadiness that she finds the emotional security she's looking for. In modern life, this means stepping away from unnecessary drama and focusing on what truly matters: consistency, emotional control, and being present in the relationship. This approach isn't just a strategy, it's a lifestyle. It's the art of showing up without needing to ask for credit. You must embody the very Stoic principle of emotional mastery, where you are not defined by the fluctuations around you, but by your ability to remain calm, present, and strong. This is how you give her the reassurance she desperately seeks, even if she can't say it aloud. If you made it this far, you're already understanding the deeper layers of emotional connection. Most men get caught in the cycle of reacting, but true strength comes from being emotionally steady, showing up when she pulls away. Please comment below with this: I am grounded, steady, and present, no matter the emotional storm. 7. Your reaction decides everything. Listen up when a woman pulls away or acts distant. You can't control her emotions, but what you can control, and what matters most, is how you respond. Your reaction decides everything. Too many men crumble the moment they sense her withdrawing. The phone calls increase, the texts flood in, and panic sets in when she asks for space. Men over, explain themselves, beg for a second chance, and scramble for answers. When she gets moody or cold, they take it personally, demanding an explanation. Here's the thing: this is where men show their weakness, not through words, but emotionally. Women notice this shift immediately. They can sense when a man moves from being grounded to insecure, and that's when everything unravels. When a woman realizes she can make you react, she loses respect for you. Trust me, she can't trust a man she can manipulate emotionally. If you want her to trust you, you must remain emotionally steady, no matter what she does. The blessing of Stoicism teaches us that control over one's emotions, rather than reacting to the whims of the moment, is the true test of strength. Too many men have been trained to respond emotionally, thinking that love means fixing her discomfort, but that's a trap. The old Stoic way would tell you that real strength is not in reacting, it's in restraint. When she pulls away, stay still. If she gets cold, stay warm, but maintain your distance. If she tests you emotionally, don't flinch. This doesn't mean you become a robot. It means responding with calm awareness, not desperate reactions. A modern Stoic man knows that his power in the relationship isn't about controlling her, but mastering himself. That's the secret. This is where most men lose the woman they could have had, not because she stopped caring, but because they stopped being the man she was drawn to. Centered, confident, and emotionally stable. When she sees her behavior can throw you off, the dynamic shifts. The safety is gone, and with it, any chance of lasting trust. The truth is, it's not about how much she pulls away. It's about how little it changes you. Women are emotional creatures, and that's natural. The problem arises when men think they need to meet emotion with emotion. You don't. Instead, you meet it with stability. That's what she's subconsciously searching for. It's not just her attention she wants, it's her trust. And that's earned through your ability to stay calm and composed. No matter what happens, stop reacting like a boy every time she pulls away or gets moody. Start responding like a man who understands the game. She doesn't even realize she's playing, but it's a game of emotional awareness, not manipulation. You're not there to fix her emotions, you're there to lead with your own. Remember, at the end of the day, how you respond when the going gets tough. That's what separates the men she forgets from the ones she never gets over. Let's get real. Most men are too afraid to admit that a woman's love doesn't always look like love. Sometimes it looks like silence. It looks like distance. It looks like it's pushing you away. But underneath all of that, she's watching. She's waiting. She's hoping that you respond like the strong man she can finally trust with her heart, even when she's not making it easy. And here's the controversial part: if she can break you emotionally, she will never be able to fully love you. Not because she's cruel, but because she needs to see your strength when hers is faltering. She needs to know she can fall apart without dragging you down. That's where respect is born. Without respect, no love can last. So take a breath, stay grounded, and become the modern Stoic she can't help but respect. Hey, thanks for watching. I want to hear from you. Have you ever dealt with a woman who pushed you away just as things were getting deep? Share your experience in the comments below. I make it a point to read and respond to all your thoughts, because this channel isn't just about giving advice. It's about building real strength among men who've been confused, frustrated, or misled. You're not alone in this, and together, we can rise above those emotional games. Remember, you can lead with power, clarity, and calm, no matter what you're facing. So drop your comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and keep growing.